When you think of sports, what do you think of? Basketball? Touchdowns? Or maybe even something like this?
The 1-1 for Dyson. Batista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
For me, sports at its most basic form, it's just entertainment. It is shown at times similar to like television, like at night. Brings in revenue and just offers a method of overall kill time, just like a TV show would. But really, at its deepest entry level, I feel like sports have the power to change lives and fix broken pieces of someone's life. Um, at least for me, it can release someone from the chains of an addiction or offer peace from the troubles of everyday life. The reason why I'm making this video is to serve as a representation of the effect of sports to heal and change people or a city or an entire nation. Um, and I really feel like this can speak to people who are wondering why sports gather so much attention around the world. Um, yeah. So what and why sports is just a big part of everyone's lives. To understand that, we must go back, all the way back to 2001, when the Twin Towers fell on September 11th, 2001. New York City was left shaken in every possible way. People were grieving loved ones. The city streets felt quieter and colder. And for weeks, if not months, it seemed impossible to imagine anything resembling normal life ever returning again to New York City. But slowly and almost unexpectedly, sports began to play a role in bringing New Yorkers back together again. Only 10 days after the 9/11 attacks, New York Mets played their first major sporting event in the city. It wasn't just a baseball game, though. It was the first time over 1,000 New Yorkers came back to that stadium after 9/11 and accepted what happened. They were all there breathing the same air, taking the same views, and sharing the same emotions of what they had to go through just 2 weeks before. Um, and a clip that I think really resembles that is the Mike Piazza home run clip.
Lopez wants it away. And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
Yeah, I think that right there, it just perfectly sums up how sports affects people. The crowd just erupts in just cheering, and you can see everyone cheering with signs that say "We believe" and American flags flying everywhere. And it's bigger than just hitting a home run to win the game. It's more about the connection of, hey, we had an awful tragedy happen, the worst in American history, and we need something to lift us up. And that right there is exactly what I feel sports does, in a nutshell. It brings us up when we're down, and it turns us into one body, um, and it forgets. It doesn't care where you're from, doesn't care where your culture is. It brings you together based on one factor, and that is sports, which is awesome. After the game, Mike Piazza said, quote, "It was just this incredible release of emotion. And I think, it became evidently clear that people just wanted something to cheer about." After the home run by Mike Piazza came October, and that's when the Yankees reached World Series. And before Game 3, President George W. Bush actually walked out wearing a FDNY sweater and threw the first pitch, and that really showed America, like, hey, we're not scared of anything that happened. We're not gonna back down, and we're here, and that nothing can stop us, and that we're gonna use sports as a way to cope, but also to show you like, hey, you didn't change us. We're just doing what we normally do, and you can't stop us. A fan before Game 3 of the World Series said, quote, "This is a special night for New York and a big game for the whole country. I bet you half the people watching on television in Arizona are rooting for the Yanks. And if they aren't rooting for them, they're rooting for the city." End quote. The next piece I want to highlight is the Boston Marathon bombings. So as seen just beforehand, the Boston Marathon bombing occurred in 2013. Two massive explosions occurred right at the end of the 4-hour mark of the race, and 4 people at the end were killed, and over 100 people were injured. But that's what I want to highlight is just the reaction that the city of Boston and President Obama shared a year in reflection. We also know that the most vivid images from that day were not of smoke and chaos, but of compassion, kindness, and strength. A man in a cowboy hat helped a wounded stranger out of harm's way, runners embracing loved ones and each other, an EMT carrying a spectator to safety, Barack Obama. A memorial was set up in Boston to commemorate the lives lost at the Boston Marathon bombing, with a stone right next to the first blast downtown. And then to end out this video, I want to talk about personally how I've used sports to help in tragedy in my life. So growing up, I played golf as my first ever sport. Played golf a lot, and I played it. I had my coach, his name was Jonathan Langford. Really cool dude, but had some underlying issues, and one day he overdosed, and it was hard. It was really hard. I just remember just not seeing him again at about 8 or 9 years old, and just not knowing what was happening at that age, and just being confused and wondering why this could happen to someone as good as he was, someone like him. But all I knew what to do was just to keep going and keep practicing the golf that he taught me. And I think that helped me a lot with coping and dealing with that tragedy, because it was something that I was used to. Just like the same thing with the New York Mets after the 9/11. They were used to baseball, and they enjoyed it, and they needed something to lean on in times of trouble. So I think that was how I leaned on it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
Look at this party. He windmills this. Look at the windmill.